What are we even talking about today, bro?
We're talking about food.
We're talking about that food, bro.
Food, man.
We're talking about that thing that sustains us, that thing
Yeah.
that we love, that that probably Americans eat a bit too much of, which is an interesting one, bro. But yeah, food, man. We all love good food. We all hate bad food. What makes good food, bro?
I think it's different. Different opinions will share different thoughts. Different people will share different thoughts. But to me, it's good quality followed by good taste.
So the
Not
quality
the other
comes
way around.
before taste.
In my opinion, yes. Because I would rather something that's good quality and like not the best tasting than something that's terrible quality but really good tasting.
Yeah, okay.
Not to mention also when you eat good quality food, it's very hard for it to not taste good as long as you don't do too much to it. So
That
to
is
me,
true, because I guess a lot of times the quality brings out better tastes.
Yeah.
I.e., with high quality veg, they're sweeter, they've got a better taste profile. High quality meat, the fattiness, well, for certain types of meat, the fattiness then makes it taste better.
Bro, with vegetable, I mean, in the UK, like tomatoes are.
Oh,
I went back to Rome a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, and I saw Paolo, my friend that you've now met.
yeah.
And I just landed in Rome, and he's like, "Oh, what do you want to eat tonight?" I was like, "I don't want to." In Rome, it's really cheap to eat. Got restaurants everywhere. Let's just go eat. He's like, "No, man, I bought some onions and tomatoes. We'll make a pasta with onions and tomatoes." And I didn't want to say. I was just like, "Yeah, cool," because obviously, he bought that already. It's normal. I was like, "Yeah," but in my mind, I was like, "I'm only here for 3 days. I kind of want to eat out." Then we made the pasta with onions and tomatoes.
It was banging.
It wasn't banging. It was completely different to the one here, man. And I make that quite often because it's easy to make, but completely different.
Yeah.
It was like I enjoyed it so much, man. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And it's the same ingredients, just different quality.
That's interesting. So I guess that's good food. What makes a good cuisine overall, though? Like, in your opinion?
To me, it's one that's balanced. A cuisine also needs to be, for me, a diet as well. Like, if your cuisine is good, but you just can't have it too often because otherwise it's full of saturated fat and whatnot.
Okay, fair.
Then, yeah, to me, like, for example, Japanese, it's amazing. Lebanese, it's amazing. And Italian is the same thing. And people who haven't been to Italy will say pasta and pizza are not healthy. First of all, pasta is not unhealthy. I will stand by that till I die, unless you start adding double cream and all that stuff that people add. And second of all, we have so many meats and vegetables that are eaten with every single meal. So much fruit. It's just a healthy diet, same as Greek. As long as you don't go too much into the fried stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's really good. But what would you say?
I would say that, like, the taste of the food and the quality of the food has to be there. But for me to say, is this a good cuisine? I think it has to have, okay, so I think the average level of a chef in that cuisine has to be quite high in comparison.
The culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, because in every cuisine, there's going to be like high level chefs
True.
that can make it good. But what does the average Italian person, British person, Jamaican person make when they're thinking about making foods that represent that cuisine? And how and how does it sort of come out? So I think about that. I think about, like, what do their main recipes look like? Are they because it has to be accessible, right? But it also has to be a real way of cooking it right. Like, I don't think you can call a cuisine good if it's super complex, super whatever. But, like, if no one's gonna be able to make it, you're never gonna know if it's good or not because you're not gonna have tasted it. So it has to be accessible. Which a lot of great
accessible internationally, or
in terms of just like, all right, I wanna experience Italian food, or if I'm a person who wants to make Italian food, I can do that. Now I might not be able to do it to the level of the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
chefs, but can I at least do that? I think that's a level that good food is able to be experienced
okay,
by everyone. Basically, is what I'm saying, and people want to experience it. And so yeah, there's sort of those aspects of it. But then I also would stress on it has to have a real process behind how you make things right. Like I'd say for you, I feel like when you're making pasta, you've got something in your mind about okay, how this should be done and that, and then da 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 da. I feel like there has to be a level of that with like good cuisines. Like there should be right ways of doing things that they shouldn't always be set in stone to the point where there's no flexibility and there's no sort of development, but there should be right ways of doing
yeah,
things, I'd say. And those right ways of doing things should be like objectively pretty good ways of sort of
yeah, yeah.
cooking. So that's what I see. But yeah, taste and quality for sure, realistically, are just like probably the most two important. It's gotta taste good, man. And it can't be killing you, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
It
exactly.
can't be
Because you go to
killing
a
you.
lot of places in the US where the food will taste good, but the quality is not good. And to me, that's not a good cuisine. Also, not to start talking about the US, but most places you go to the US, the food isn't very good. At least my experience.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, I don't think it's the restaurants that are within your country
yeah,
that create food that doesn't have anything. So, like London, for example, you can eat really well in London. You can
yeah,
go to so many different places. You can have good Italian, good Indian, good Korean, good Japanese, good everything.
yeah,
And it's a great city to live in for food.
yeah.
But you can't attribute that to the like English cuisine, at least in my point. I think everyone probably thinks that to a certain extent. But what would you say then are the three best cuisines in the world, in your opinion? Because of
Yeah.
course it's all subjective.
All right. So yeah. So in my opinion, I guess I've got
Ranking, huh?
yeah. I've no, but I've got to think about like because there are objective levels to it, and then there's also what I enjoy myself, right? So I would say the best cuisines. I'm putting Lebanese out there, man. I'm putting Lebanese as my best, and you know why? Because it's so simple, but it's just so nice, bro. It's
Lebanese is your first top one.
I mean, like for me, that's
Yeah, yeah,
that's
but
what
I'm not.
I gotta say that, bro.
Yeah, of
Lebanese my
course.
top one. You know why, man? It's just that grilled meat, man. That grilled meat, seasoned nice, bro. I know what them boys put on that, fam, but it just tastes so good. You know the yellow saffron rice. Get all your veg. You get your different type of salad, however you want your salad. They got a few out there that they do. It's beautiful, man. Then hummus. Oh, hummus. Hummus, man. Wow. So I'd put Lebanese first. I'm probably gonna have to put. I'll put Italian second, man. Because you've
Fair
got
enough,
you've
man.
you've got to understand how like much foods like pasta and pizza have changed the world realistically, man.
Yeah, but I don't. I wouldn't attribute that to the just because I think you should
It's got to
decide
mean
on
something though.
it. Definitely does mean something, but like the pasta that you eat in most foreign countries is not very comparable to Italian pasta most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, even in cities like London and New York, and I've lived in both, I struggle to find good Italian restaurants that are to my
Yeah.
liking.
Yeah. I'm putting third though.
Who you put in third, man?
I'm putting them Chinese boys third. I'm putting them Chinese boys third. And people are gonna be like, wait, how is a British person you put Chinese food first? Chinese British food isn't it anything like Chinese food or authentic Chinese.
Yeah.
And look, bro, I don't care, man. Sweet and sour chicken, bro. Do you get me? That's clear, bro.
No, man. I can't put that anywhere there.
What would you say? Top three?
Top three, I would go Italian first. No bias. Probably Japanese second.
Yeah.
And then it's very tight. You know, I would have never said it up until I've just
What
been
Greek?
no,
Ooh,
Mexico. I would have never said it having eaten Mexican food in Italy and the US, but I went to
yes.
Mexico for the first time. And if I'm basing it off the standard of what I had
Yeah,
in those days, then I'm putting Mexican third. It was amazing. If not, I rate Lebanese. Lebanese
yeah,
is definitely a top five. Wouldn't put Chinese. Yeah, I
yeah.
think.
I got other honorable mentions though. I'll put Greek food up there.
Mm,
Um, the Mediterranean diet in general is good. You
yeah,
know, whichever
yeah,
country you go to around the Mediterranean, given the quality of the raw ingredients, you gotta respect it. Really, people are gonna be like, "You're black, but you've not said Nigerian food." Bro, Nigerian food's super good, man. But as I said, that like average level, bro. If I just go to some random Nigerian auntie's house, her jollof rice is mid. It's not comparing to my mum, bro. So I don't know. And then when I think about, okay, cool, I wanna buy food. I wanna, it's a Friday night. I'm getting a takeaway, or I'm going out to a restaurant. There's probably other foods that I'm picking before Nigerian food. That isn't to say that I don't love it. I do, man. Pounded yam, soup, get me, jollof rice, pepper soup too, akara, man. And you won't know about akara. It's
I don't know
essentially
about.
like um, it's fried beans, seasoned, got spices, mixed with tomato, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
But so I've got a love for Nigerian food, but just on that, when you compare it, it's harder for me to put things like African food in there. But I've got an interesting sort of reason why in regard to that. Because you look at the most sort of well-renowned foods or cuisines, Italian, French, Japanese, Greek, these sort of things, and then you compare it to cuisines like cuisines you find in Africa or in the Caribbean or even like Indian, South Asian stuff. And people really love that second group of cuisines that I've mentioned. There's super nice food in there, but they are perceived differently to me. And I've always asked like why. And I just think it's like a case of in a lot of these cuisines, you do have to rely on the spices a lot. Um, Due to the nature of things, the quality of sort of the raw ingredients there might not have been as good. I'm not too sure. Um, but yeah, it just seems very different. I mentioned the accessibility of
yeah,
recipes, and it's just not the case in terms of a lot of these other cuisines. You have to get sat down by a real professional in that cuisine to figure out how to make good jollof rice, for example, or a good stew. I've heard that making Indian curries from scratch and not out of a Patak's bottle is,
yeah,
is, is something that is actually very difficult to do. So
yeah,
I think the accessibility sort of maybe turns people off from saying it's better than some of the Western things. Maybe it's just Western bias though. Maybe if we go to Nigeria and we ask what's the best cuisine, they're not even going to think of saying any of these Western
yeah.
things we've said.
But then, would you say that they have access to the Western cuisines? Because
I'm
we
not sure.
probably have more access to their cuisines than they do to ours.
Oof. I guess that's just a case of like the flow
Yeah,
of
yeah, of
immigration, isn't
course,
it?
of course.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But
Interesting.
I'd say that all those cuisines are super, super good, and are definitely in that band.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what I want to hear though? I want to hear you say what are your three worst cuisines? What are the three cuisines where
I don't want to say worse, but how about I go like disappointing? Because
that's almost that's almost as bad though.
yeah, but
You ate it and you just looked at it, fam, like it just failed you. Wow.
it's more so of having been in the country and
Okay,
having
fair.
tried the cuisine and having been like super
Yeah, 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 yeah,
disappointed.
yeah. Go
And I
on.
know a lot of people who disagree with this, but for example, Vietnamese for me was
Really?
not
I wouldn't
good
have expected
at
that.
all. To me, it just wasn't. There were things that were nice, but for the most part, it just didn't. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the week before I went into Vietnam,
Yeah.
I was in New York,
Yeah.
and I had a banh mi from the first time I ever had a banh mi from this restaurant. It cost me like $35, man. In Vietnam, it cost $1. I had it with some friends, and I was that kind of pushed me over the edge to go into Vietnam because as I already want to go for the nature, I tried that. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
food.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know this sounds very like Westerner of me trying, Vietnamese food in New York and then going into Vietnam, but the quality of a lot of specifically street food, and of course it makes so much sense,
Yeah.
is pretty low. You have loads of the vegetables tend to be very fresh, but the chicken is all dried out, and it makes sense because they have to conserve it for enough time to sell it. The bread is terrible. It's like it's really really bad. And the meats that I ate in different places were good. They just they didn't do too much for me. I went into Indonesia, and I was in Indonesia on a small island for 10 days,
Yeah.
the middle of nowhere. And I ate really, really well there.
Yeah.
And when had to go back into Vietnam, I was kind of like, just the food. Most people are going to disagree with me because I heard so many people speak about Vietnamese food as one of the best, even before going and even after going, from people who had been there.
Yeah.
That's one. Prague, definitely, definitely did not hit the spot. I don't want to sound arrogant again, but it just wasn't. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It was.
What was the food like there? Like, what sort of things
It's a
were
lot
you
of like
eating?
meat, potatoes,
Yeah.
just like stews, and I can't even remember too much, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I was only there for 4 days, but I did not have a great time. And then the last one, I would actually say in the US, like in New York, you eat really, really well, man, really well. Like I'm excited every time I'm in New York. I'm excited to go to different spots. But in the US in general, like you don't eat well, man. You
very
risk it
good,
with these
man.
restaurants, and they're actually pretty bad. They're pretty bad, man. It's not even like it's okay. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what's interesting about the US? And of course, it's British food, which, to a lot of people won't be great. But you see on social media so much how US people will come to the UK and just start hating on the UK. Oh, I came to London. I couldn't eat anything, dog. I had to
I've
take
seen
my own,
those
I
videos,
had to
man.
take my own seasoning, dog, and do, bro, fam. Firstly, yeah, look at what your cuisine does to your own people, bro. 75% of adults are overweight there. 40, I think it was 9% are obese. That's dark, man.
It's crazy.
That's dark. You look at other good cuisines, the obesity levels of their people sort of match the quality of their food. So it's interesting.
I think if you look at all standards of health
Mm.
in the US, like for being the best country in the world, which we always hear, it's very, very, very low down. Very low down.
Yeah, yeah. And then another one that I was disappointed with, which I wasn't expecting, was Brazil when we went.
Oh, good shout,
That
man.
was the straight meadington
Good
of,
shout, man.
because it was. I mean, apart from just the steak, which certain places we had nice steak.
Most places we didn't.
You
If
know,
we had only steak and it was good in a lot of places, I wouldn't have come back thinking it wasn't great.
it really didn't hit the spot, man. The sides that were served,
Very repetitive.
very repetitive and very unremarkable. Just the flavors, and obviously, when you're in a place for like almost a month, trying different stuff, and we went to like 6 different places in Brazil, and none of them we were like, wow, the food's great here. It's
So many, man. Across the
so
whole country.
so
It's the same for me for Vietnam, man. Like I was there for a very long time, so it's not
Yeah.
even.
yeah, it's an
But
interesting
Brazil was
one.
very disappointing.
Yeah. But I'll still go back to the country because it's a great country
In half a
and
second,
great
man.
people. But talking about sort of disappointing food experiences, and this isn't something that happens. I'm not gonna say this is like the case because most Michelin star places are gonna be good. But have you ever been disappointed in a sort of like really expensive restaurant or that sort of thing? Or have you ever experienced Michelin star and enjoyed it? You got any sort of
I haven't been to that many. I
yeah,
don't actually care about it much.
yeah,
Like how the I think I've been twice or three times that I've been. I
yeah.
didn't know. Like it turns out that Hakkasan was a Michelin star restaurant,
Mm,
and now isn't anymore. And then I've been to one in Italy and one in France, and just didn't know.
yeah,
But I never had a bad experience. It was always really good. It's just not the style of food that
yeah,
I enjoy, because I do enjoy eating a good amount of food, um,
yeah.
and I don't enjoy tastings. I
Mm,
enjoy, it's
mm,
probably because of how we grew up in Italy. You have a main course and then a second and a side, right?
mm.
And it's usually like a pasta and then piece of meat and a salad or whatever. And I don't like the small amounts of, and that was my experience in a
Yeah,
few, and
yeah,
at least two of them, not Hakkasan, but the small foods that are just coming, and it's not my sort of thing. I also don't
yeah,
have a palate that's refined enough to sit there and like critique the amount of whatever that they used.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but what about you? Have you had?
I mean, I've been to a couple Michelin rated, um, which I'd say were, nice experiences. Definitely did come out feeling hungry, like, bro, the portions. But yeah, it's. I'm not gonna say that I've been disappointed by it generally. I haven't been to enough to sort of say that, but I think it gets to a point with food where if you're past the point of diminishing returns when it comes to paying. Like I think once you've gone past like maybe like 70, 80, like once you've gone past like £100 that you're paying for yourself, I really don't think you're gonna get much sort of better like after that, man.
Completely agree,
I
man.
mean, I'm happy to pay for a new experience realistically because that's what a lot of it is with Michelin star.
Yeah,
Everything around the food too. So I'm down to do that, but man, I'm not gonna like I wouldn't like to be fair, the fact that there probably are more Michelin star establishments within, French, Italian cuisine, um, Japanese cuisine. That doesn't instantly make me say, oh, now they must be better because of the
no,
Michelin level.
I
Do you know what I
completely
mean?
agree.
I
Completely.
appreciate it, but yeah, man. And times when I have gone to really expensive restaurants, went to one in Singapore called C'est La Vie at the top of Marina Bay Sands. Bro, it's so dead, man. So dead. Because then you think about what you could have spent that money on, bro. And
But was that like a kind of newsarette? I don't know how to say it,
like
but
sort of like chic, sort of bougie, like
yeah, just like it's it's
what's like
trying to,
gimmicky. Not
yeah,
gimmick, but like it's more of just marketed.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah, I'd say so. I
yeah,
think, you're in like the biggest tourist spot in Singapore. You're right at the top, you've got the view. So they're able to just basically rob you
yeah.
for what was just so mid, man.
That's
And
in most countries, the ones that you
yeah,
go to and they have like the
yeah,
best view and whatever. It's about just,
yeah, yeah. But honestly, though, I'd be on it for more food tourism, though, because I feel like with food, it's one of the like one real ways you can get to know a place.
yeah,
Because well, those recipes are probably developed from time. Um, the local people are proud about it, about the recipes. So you go there and you try them, and going to a local food spot might strike up a convo with someone,
for sure, man.
and stuff like that.
That's why I love street food and like street
Mm,
food markets. You don't eat the best food you find, but
yeah,
I just love them, the atmosphere and everything around it
yeah,
in new cities.
yeah.
What's an experience that is as good as eating, that is just as repeatable? Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because
mm, mm,
you eat three times a day, and every time you're looking forward to that. Not every time, but most times you're looking forward to that food.
yeah,
And when you eat it, it's like,
yeah.
it's so nice. And there's not many,
There's
if
not
any.
there's not many, man. I mean, I can think of one that will probably come to a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, but imagine you're doing it 3 times a day, man. That
Yeah, bro, you
every
don't
single
have the
day. That's
facilities for that
yeah,
still. Don't have the facilities for that. But no, yeah, it's true, man. Food is it's so good, man. It's so good. And the thing is with me though, I always find like a food that I'll like, and then I just spam it,
yeah.
and then I'll just abuse it until I don't like it anymore. And
Like chicken cottage and at university.
bro, chicken cottage did lasting damage to me, bro. I'm telling you, man. I've not recovered from those first year absolute. Oh, oh. Anyway, that just took me back to a dark place. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, man. I've got to recollect my thoughts. But yeah, man. Food's great, man. Food's
Yeah.
great.
It's also isn't always great. I mean, the school meals that I had here in the UK.
I've actually got an interesting opinion on this. Talk to me about your school meals, though.
No, mine were really bad, bro.
Yeah.
They weren't as bad as some of my friends who, in just before coming to secondary school,
Yeah.
they were getting given white rice and bags of ketchup for lunch, man.
The school gave them
Yeah,
that.
white rice
Yo,
and
you know,
bags
if you
of
told
ketchup.
Jamie Oliver that, bro, he's
Yeah, of course,
shutting the
bro.
school down. What?
That was before
That's
he made
dark,
those,
bro.
yeah, but not that he would have changed anything. But
You know, my school meals for the most part weren't too bad. Like Wednesdays and Fridays, I'd look forward to them.
what, fish and chips or
Yeah, so Fridays was like fish, zinger burger, or like hot dog and chips. But you know what they used to do? Like Cole Palmer said, you know, they had the chippy chips, like the thick chips, but they were crispy on the outside. So it used to be banging, yeah. And then the zinger burgers, bro, they just used to get them right, man.
that's fair enough,
and
man.
And obviously as a kid, you know, you're gonna go crazy about that stuff. Then on Wednesday, they'd always have like roast dinners. But the chicken was all right. It was like done well enough. But the potatoes, again, just crispy, bro.
They were getting them right.
These guys were just, you know, they left it in the oven like for the right amount of time, fam. Yeah, they crisped up the thing.
Did you have Pasta King?
Nah,
You got blessed, man.
Nah, I saw how dark that was.
You got blessed. That was a mix of
watery,
ramen, like the instant noodles and.
Yeah, that can't be
the thing is that was like the alternative, right? So sometimes where I wouldn't eat, to be honest. Especially some of the fish and chips was mad on a Friday. Be unbelievably oily, bro. It would be mushy. It was I don't know. I had a pretty bad experience, but to be honest, when we went to uni and we had the accommodation, it got a bit much after a while, after the first couple months, but I was happy with that.
It was heavy food, to be fair, man. It was heavy food there. Although, given the fact that due to financial constraints, I was basically eating one meal a day. It wasn't bad that it was heavy food.
The thing is, it didn't really matter for you because every day it was the same now. Like whatever you took, you would put like a bottle.
It took me a second to make that connection, bro. Oh my god.
Whatever you took, whether it was the chicken, the fish, the pasta, you'd empty out a bottle of ketchup on top, and then it just all would taste the same.
Hey, bro, blame their cooking, not me, bro. Now, to be fair, I gotta put my hands up, man. I abuse ketchup. I got a toxic relationship with
it's getting healthier.
It's getting healthier, man. You know, we're giving each other a bit more space, which is good. You know, we're setting more boundaries. I'm not committing crimes with her anymore, bro.
Yeah,
but I will admit there were questionable things in uni. But I gotta ask you, what's the most criminal food combination you've done or do? And I don't think you'll even say anything that crazy, bro.
Because I to be honest, I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me think about it. I think you've got a good answer for this. I'll throw the question back at you.
All right. So this is one thing that I would do. I was about to say when I was like,
It's not.
In dark days. But sometimes, and this isn't that bad. And I've seen one of your mates that has done a similar thing to it. So toast some bread.
And slap ketchup on top.
But butter first.
Nah, that's
But
mad.
butter first, and then
I remember
ketchup.
because you and my friend Ruben, you were arguing because you were saying the butter was better, and he was saying, "Nah, just ketchup works." And I was just thinking, like,
Bro, you need the butter. It adds a level of I don't know, maybe it's the fat in the butter. It just brings out the flavors a bit more. Do you know
what
what I mean?
flavors? What
The
flavors?
sugar in the ketchup, bro. No, but that's probably my most tapped thing. Or just the fact that I'll slap a banana down on any plate and just have it there and just eat it
Like the
alongside.
Marlies,
Huh?
like the
Like
Marlies.
the Marlies, bro. Like Marlies know what they're doing,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah.
The Marlies know what they're
No, I
doing.
remember one of our friends made us eat it one time, and it was actually good.
Yeah, man.
Um,
But
Not that they even mix it though. You probably mix everything together.
I'm not mushing it. All right. It'll be on the same fork. But I'm not mushing stuff together, bro. But
Whatever's on your plate is getting on the same fork, man, every single time.
yeah, bro. I'm crazy, bro.
But we're working on you, man.
But you know, there's some people that can't have different items on a plate touching each other. Like they'll bug out. I've seen it on social media. Like some people will have those dinner hall plates at home. Because if their thing touches, they're gonna start.
That's tapped, man. That's actually mad.
Yo,
The packed lunch, like splitting thing.
yeah, bro. Oh, mate.
I don't know. I don't really have. I don't think I do anything that mad. At least that comes into my head now.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that's fair.
but have you got any like undefeated combinations? Like top tier, no one can argue with.
Yeah, man. So I would say, and this isn't something that's too crazy. It's just not something you see in the UK a lot.
It's just ketchup.
All right, banter, yeah. I'm talking about honey mustard mayo, bro. Mustard, honey, and mayo. Mayo, mustard, and honey. All of the combinations, yeah, you get me? Mix it together. That's gonna be the best sauce that you put on a sandwich or burger, bro. There's just something about it, man. Even with chicken, bro, like that sauce is elite. And it's better to buy all three ingredients and make it yourself. Like buy good honey, mustard, and mayo and make it yourself, and that sauce is gonna carry you, bro.
I've never had it.
Bro, it's serious, man. It's serious. But other undefeated combos?
I can think of like specifically for like not the most. So for example, for a burger,
Yeah.
for me it has to have a tomato in it, man.
Yeah.
It can't
no,
not have it.
No, it needs to.
It needs to. But a lot of people, especially there's so many places that just do it with
Just cheese.
just cheese.
You need that freshness, bro.
Yeah,
I
you
also
need
really like tomatoes though. Like I
Yeah.
can just eat them.
Yeah.
So I can understand some people just don't. But if you like tomatoes, what are you doing taking it out, bro?
If you don't like
It's the
tomatoes,
freshness.
lettuce at least.
Yeah,
Or a
man.
type of
To just cut down that
Yeah.
fattiness a bit, man. Just give you another texture as well in there. That's
grilled
gotta be in
onion.
there. Yeah.
For me, that's not necessary, but it adds a lot. It adds a lot more than bacon, in my opinion.
Ooh.
Yeah, controversial opinion maybe.
I'm not gonna like that, bro.
I'm not gonna like it.
Nah, wait, come on, bro. Alright.
Bro, bacon doesn't add anything to it, man. That's just like the biggest.
Bro,
It's just
so
the
you're
biggest scam. They
you-
charge you £3 more. They put in some like meaty bacon. Yeah.
Yeah, but
You
what if
forget
it
you
ain't
even have
meaty
it.
though? What if it's like perfectly crispy?
Then
like,
it adds something.
and
but
it's got that bacon flavor, man. You're trying to tell me, actually,
bro, nice
grilled onions
onion.
are up there as well, though. Would I choose? It would have to be how I'm feeling on the day, man. If I had to choose between them,
And then no cheese. Therefore, no cheese, man.
I'm not usually a cheese eater.
Yeah, most people would react.
But
angrily to that.
sometimes I actually will throw cheese in a burger, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like, especially if I'm having bacon with it as well, I'm just like, let me just do the full works, bro. You know what I think is overkill though? Fried egg in a burger, man.
I think you're doing too much there, I agree.
Yeah, bro, you're doing too much.
But it doesn't take away from it. It takes away from like the easeability.
The structural integrity.
Yeah.
You can get the yolk everywhere.
Even avocado is similar though. Unless you mash it up, like then it's just. But still, I think you're taking it too many steps. But sometimes I do it. It's nice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, for crepes, Nutella and banana. In my opinion, if you just have Nutella, then it's a bit it's a bit crazy. I think that's why you have to put the banana, man.
Yeah, bro. Get me. It's gonna come in and save the day, bro.
It is.
That's it. That's it. But yo, how do you feel about British food, man? Like, do you think it deserves its bad rep?
Most definitely.
Oh, alright, go on.
No,
Why?
I don't. Yeah, it's not. I don't know, bro. Like good British food, as in I've had good Sunday roasts. I've had good pies, um, good fish and chips.
Yeah,
They're all like really good.
yeah,
I enjoy it every time. But like you said, you have to take a cuisine at like the average level. And if you remove the international good restaurants in this country, specifically, mainly in London, you're left with like some very depressing options, man.
yeah,
And it's no wonder that if you step out of your house in London, you go anywhere, most restaurants won't be British,
yeah,
and
yeah,
most of them won't.
yeah,
Whereas in other cities, you step out, most of them are of that country, and then there are some that are not. But it's a matter of being lucky or not to a certain extent, man. Like you said, Italy and let's say Greece have an abundance of fresh ingredients. The sea, the mountains, they've got meat and fish. They've got everything they need. And with the best ingredients, then you over a long time you develop the best recipes and the best cuisine overall. But if you live in a place which doesn't give you any of that or gives you just little things, then you're not gonna, you're not gonna have the best cuisine.
No, I agree. I completely agree with what you said. Like, it's obviously a lot like it's a lot plainer than I'd say a lot of other cuisines, and there's nice food. There's nice food that's British, for sure. But yeah, just the fact that it's been so deeply infiltrated by the food of immigrant cuisines to the point where like the national dish is a tikka masala.
Yeah,
Like, that's pretty mad, bro.
yeah,
Like, Indian immigration started, well, mostly started after colonization. So let's say like, I don't know, 1800s, 1900s, bro. The national dish is a dish that's come from like 100 years ago.
it's crazy.
Like, that's pretty mad, isn't it? But to be fair, like, that being said, tikka masala is pretty nice. So I don't think anyone's complaining, but it's crazy to think about that. I also had one other thing, right? You know, British families, even if you're just like a white British family, you're probably eating your family's your family's version of spaghetti bolognese and chicken curry,
Yeah,
you know, just as much as, you know.
but that's also just British food, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not
That's
it's
also
not
British food.
it's not gonna be the same as if you go to the actual place.
It's
But
not even remotely close.
rah,
It's not. It's like pasta king.
rah, man. So you think
No, no,
most British families
no,
are getting
not
brought up on pasta
not
king?
all of them. Not all of them.
Just the vast majority. Oh,
No, but
yeah.
I don't know if I want to say this, but there's also a lack of care towards things like this from within British culture altogether. You know, whether it's food or art or, you know, architecture, all these different things, there is less of a culture of building a precise image of what you are and have been for thousands of years. And there's a lot more patriotism in all these countries that attach themselves to national recipes far more than they do in England. Because in Italy, if you go to an Italian and you tell them, no, I want to add double cream to a pasta, blah, 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 like they'll kill you, right? But if you do so here, they don't care because there isn't that, there isn't that importance on it. Because there is no way, if a culture,
British food is it's nowhere near the same. That's true.
if you had a culture that was prideful about their food, you know, we're still an island surrounded by fish. You know, there could have been loads of recipes made from just a rare amount of ingredients. I mean, a simple example is carbonara, right? Carbonara, like the Italian dish, blah, blah, blah. You know, most Italian recipes that you come across have been developed for hundreds of years. people will probably think that carbonara was one of them, but really carbonara was made in the Second World War, um, because there was a lack of ingredients, and so with the eggs that they had and the bit of guanciale and pecorino and sometimes pepper if they had it, they came up with this recipe that now you can't, in Italy, you can't divert away from it, right? You can't add your double cream and your mushrooms and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that was just developed, less than 100 years ago. So why can't England have something that's similar to that? And it's simply because they don't have the pride that certain other countries have towards their cuisine.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, man.
Yeah.
And, there'll be a lot of people that sort of hear that and want to fight against it. But the fact of the matter is, the level of just infiltration into the British cuisine of other immigrant groups, and not just Indian, you've got Chinese, you've got Italian, you've got French, you've got Jamaican and African, that have basically reshaped what British people 100 years ago and before that were eating. You can't really say the same level of pride's there because it wouldn't have been allowed to happen, really. It just wouldn't have happened. But yeah, man. At the same time, though, I'm not complaining, bro. I'm glad that we have so many different options
Of
in
course,
London.
right. It's a massive
great.
privilege.
It's
and
great.
If you do grow up in Rome, you're ignorant to so much that you get
That's
to eat
interesting.
here.
That's interesting.
So I know I've talked very one-sided.
Yeah.
I kind of like doing it to stir a little bit, but most of my Italian friends that grew up in Rome don't know half the foods that I managed to try.
Yeah.
And every time they come, whether it's Paolo, who we mentioned on the last podcast, or whoever else, they get introduced to some of this new cuisine and they love it because they've never, they've never gotten to experience it.
Yeah. Are there any foods that right off the bat in your head you're not eating? Like you hear someone says, "Yo, let's eat this," or a dish is put in front of you. Yo, I'm not eating that.
I'll always eat everything because I think it's disrespect. You'll be the same, but it's disrespectful. Like especially if you're someone's house and they put food in front of you, you're gonna eat it. Yeah. If I had to for example, bugs, I'd rather not go into that. But the main thing that I will never eat, and it's just because it's harder to do so, is bad Italian food. Like I'll never eat. If I'm at a restaurant and the pasta looks really bad, I'd rather not eat. And it's just because it's the frame of reference that I have, right? I won't be able to tell what's unbelievable, like really, really bad Chinese food compared to their standard because I haven't had that experience. But Italian food it will just get to me, man.
That's too funny, because that's what I was saying about Nigerian food. Like you go to one of these events, one of these Nigerian events that's catered, someone's wedding, and it's a big catering company that's done it. That jollof rice will more often than not disappoint you, bro.
Yeah.
And then you're just left with a bitter taste in your mouth, like, oh, what have I just done, man? How is this the representation of my culture that I'm experiencing right now? And it's just quite dark, bro. And then, so I completely understand that point that you've made. And I'm going to second the bugs thing too.
Yeah.
But I don't get how these boys do it over in I think it's Mexico, over in South America, they do that quite a lot.
In Southeast Asia as well. There's a lot of bugs.
Too. Bro, there's better things. There's got to be other options, fam.
So a lot of people say that certain, even not bugs, but maggots and stuff like this, they can, first of all, their protein values are super, super high. And then if they're cooked in a certain way, then they're not actually bad. But I would try it. I would try it just to, if someone said you would never try that, then I would try it. If I'm by myself, I'm not gonna try it. I don't care to
go out of my way to do it.
But I agree. It's a bit out of my comfort zone.
There's interesting ones. So in Nigeria, there's this thing called bushmeat, and that can be literally any wild animal.
Yeah.
It can be crocodiles. It can be snakes. It can be rodents, bro. When it's really darkly sort of put together, but you've got a really just morally challenged person that's wanted to just make money. they might sell you some rodent out there, and so that's probably one thing that I'd probably steer clear from.
Yeah.
Eating unidentifiable meats in Africa. You might end up waking up next to God after that, bro. Like, or next to the other geezer, bro. Fam, I tell you what though.
Just before it goes away,
What?
dogs as well, dogs and cats. You know what? I don't want to be like, if I was fed dog and I ate dog, I wouldn't react like in an unbelievable way. Like, I would just be like, oh, I'd rather not have eaten it. But I'll never pay for that food. Never. But it's also like, if I eat it, it's not like, oh my God. It's more so, I should have known.
Yeah.
If I'm in one of those countries and they don't tell you, or there's a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, rather not.
No, that's mad. You don't want to be eating like animals that are, because they're seen differently, bro. They're pets, bro.
But that's why, like, I say that I wouldn't get angry either, because that's just our view, man. But you can domesticate pretty much most animals, and then as soon as you see them as pets, you've been eating, cows all your life, but they can be.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. All right. Do you back yourself as a decent like cook, a decent chef?
No.
Okay.
I think I'm all right, but like, compared to many other people that I know that can cook.
Do you have like a desire to become like good at cooking?
For sure.
Yeah, I definitely do as well, bro.
Would you say you're a good chef, or?
Like, no, man. I can't. Like, would I be? I wouldn't be scared. I'd be scared to make something complex for like a group of friends, for example. Like, I'd make something I can comfortably make, like a chicken curry. I can do that.
Yeah.
But would I back myself to be able to do a more complex meal justice without doing it many times? I don't know if I could do that, or if I'd want to even try it. I'd still try it just because I don't want to be like a pussy or anything. But if I saw it would feel bad if I saw that they didn't enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But so I definitely want to get better at cooking, just the skills in it, because there's a lot of skill. There's skills that you can. I just want to go do it more. I should probably move out of my grandma's flat first, though. It's kind of, there's not much
getting
incentive
carried right now.
Yeah, I'm getting carried out there, man. I'm getting carried. So, but how important is it that your girl knows how to cook, for you personally?
I think it's important that she either knows or she's willing to learn. I don't.
24 though. Bro,
but bro, like,
she's got to know how.
Yeah, but I don't know. You don't know how to cook, man. Because to me,
it's different. Carry on.
To me, I don't have like the common opinion that women have to cook. Just because I like cooking myself, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see why it has to be the woman. But I wouldn't want to have a woman that if I was tired one day and I asked for her to cook, she didn't know how to. So it has to be a thing where they can learn. They can learn, or they have to be willing to learn.
Bro, they have to be willing, man. Now, if I'm in that situation, you come back from a long, hard day, bro, and you ask her to cook something, she's looking at you blankly, bro. That's gonna break your heart, man. You're gonna be like, what have I got myself into here, mate? My girl has to know how to cook, bro. Like, that's just. And I think that we also, as men, need to know how to cook. Because exactly. Let's say you have kids. What if your wife's somewhere else? You can't just like be feeding your kids microwave meals. Yeah. That's dead.
Or what if you just cook one day?
Yeah, true. Like, yeah, that is true. You should be able. Hey, listen, I'm a traditional man. No, you know what? But no, your girl has to know how to cook, bro. Because.
No, I think you know what, with these skills, I really think it's just it's a necessary skill that both people always have to be able to do. It's the same. It's like being able to drive.
Yeah.
You know, some of our friends, some people sitting around here right now don't know how to cook and don't know how to drive. So it's a bit.
I knew that was coming, bro. I'm lacking out there.
I didn't even mean it as a joke at first, and remembered that you failed again the other day.
Yo, stop. Hey, don't tell them that, man. It's gonna ruin my credibility.
No, but there's a few things like that.
Yeah.
Again, you might not have had the fortune to have learned them on the way.
No, fair.
There's many reasons you weren't able to learn driving, but imagine you weren't willing to learn now. You have to be open to it, and you have to. Yeah, for sure. But I dislike the guys that are saying, no, I don't need to learn how to cook, just as I dislike the women, because it's such a simple thing, and you should also take pleasure in it. It's proper nice being able to make a meal for other people, and then they sit down
and they're enjoying it, man. No, for sure. It's like giving a gift, mate. You know, it's you spent time and effort doing something, and it's well appreciated by people. It feels good.
Yeah.
You know, and thought, but yeah, man, it's definitely one of my resolutions to get better at cooking, and to find a girl that can cook as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fam. I tell you what, bro. If that would really affect my mental health if I was getting bad meals from my girl, man, or if I found out that she was feeding me bloody microwave meals or something, man. That's really gonna have an effect on my mental health, bro. But
no, I definitely. But I would, if that was the scenario, I'd cook or not eat.
Yeah.
I'd cook or fast.
We wanna be getting more good food into our stomachs this year, and yeah, man, good to have talked about it, bro.
For sure, man. I think it's just a relatable, easy topic.
You know what I mean?
Everyone has their opinions. I know on some of them we spoke a bit arrogantly to a certain extent, but again, it's just a light-hearted. I'm trying to wind up a few people.
Yeah. And I want to see more Nigerian restaurants around London, man. Good ones. Not just in South London too. I want to see more representation of our food, and not the mid cooks. If your mum makes mid food, don't tell her about what I said, man. Find the good aunties, bro. Find the good aunties, and then, you know what I mean? But, yeah.
And less Italian food representation.
More
British food.
More British food.
More like, more
man.
good
I feel
British
like
food.
Gordon Ramsay is just carrying way too much, bro. He's carrying British food culture way too much.
There's
if
a lot
he goes, British food culture's finished, fam.
There's a lot of like good pubs. But I can't even think of one restaurant. One restaurant.
Oh, there's one proper nice one in Birmingham, like British food, that my parents went to. Savile. I can't remember the name. So there are a couple little like British chefs doing their thing. I will admit that. But as a whole, we need to get a better standing, man, on this front. Somehow. But yeah.
I doubt it's gonna happen, but
Wow. Well, look, guys, that's been Layers.
Another one.
That's been another Layers. Comment your favorite foods in the descriptions and your least favorite foods. And yeah, man, and if you're offended by anything we said, just make better food, tell your countrymen to make better food, and then we'll be happier. But yeah, that's probably us for this episode.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, cool.